Hey, it's Mr. Leatherwood.
And Mrs. Weeks.
And we're finishing up our division week.
With my favorite.
Yeah, mine too. This is by far my favorite.
Yes.
The other methods are great, and if they work for you, they can be your favorites, but these are our favorites.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, let's start. I don't want to use orange on orange.
No, you
Let's
bring
do
in
green.
orange.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to start with the same example we've been using all
Sure.
week long? Okay. So we're going to start with 345 divided by 15. Should look familiar if you've watched the other ones. Again, we should know the answer by now. Division, super 7. Okay, so we're going to draw 345 divided by 15. Looks like a traditional
Yes.
division problem.
In the olden days.
Yes.
That's what I did in school.
Yeah, exactly. The olden days, back when they took horses to school. Okay, the super 7, okay, we see this super 7. The reason we call it a super 7 is because we turn this division into a big 7.
Big 7.
Looks like a 7. So that's where it all comes from.
Yep.
Now we are going to revisit something we did at the very beginning of the week.
Right. And that's all that multiplication.
Multiple towers, that's
Yes.
exactly right. But instead of going and writing 30 different multiples
Yes.
of 15, I do 6. I
Okay.
do 1 times 15,
Okay.
2 times 15, 3 times 15. So, for instance, I do 15 would be 1 times 15, 30 would be 2 times 15, and then 45 would be 3 times 15.
Okay. They'd be good numbers to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So give me the first 3, 15, 30, 45.
Okay.
And then I do 10 times 15, 20 times 15, and 30 times 15.
Okay.
The reason I do that is because I know if I multiply anything times 10, I'm just going to add a 0.
Right.
So, for instance, this is going to be 150 times 20 would be 300, and times 30 would be 450.
Yay.
And this multiple tower, this little box over here, I don't always put it in a box, but we'll put it in a box today. These are going to help me out in just a second. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm looking at 345, and I want to see how many times 15 goes into that. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to look over at my multiples, and I'm just going to figure out which one is closest to 345. And I think you can agree with me, 300 is going to be the closest.
Would it be wrong to take out the 45?
No?
No?
No, I mean you wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
Or you can use any of these or none of these really. But 300 is gonna make my problem
Right.
from going way down here. If I do 300, it's less subtracting and less. And I tell my kids less opportunity to mess up.
Absolutely.
The closer we can get to the
Absolutely.
total, the less opportunity. we
Well,
have
and
to mess
that's
up.
another statement then for making this little box of having different things to pull from too. So just because you see 45 and see that you could pull that out, if you also make some bigger numbers, you have those to pull from too.
Right.
So,
So we say that 300 is closest. So I'm going to go ahead and put 300 here. And then I know I'm going to subtract that.
Right.
And then this is the cool part. I like Super 7 because we kind of extend our subtraction line, or however we want to say that. And we decide this, earlier we talked about it being times 20.
right.
So I'm going to take that 20 and I'm just going to put it out here. And it gives me a running total
Right.
of what my...
That line is a nice reminder to write that down too, because so many times I've seen kids make the mistake of going ahead and subtracting out, but they've forgotten to write down what their total is, which is basically what your answer, your quotient is going to be. So you need to remember to write that down.
Right. So then we just do our subtraction. And looks like we get 45 left over, which
Oh, yay.
is so nice because if you look over here in our multiple box or multiple towers that I already have a 45. I know that 15 times 3 is going to be 45. So I'm going to do 45 here. And here's the part you're talking about. People will
Oh, yeah.
stop right there.
Yes, absolutely.
And we don't want you to stop. We want you to think about, what did I multiply 15 by to get 45? Well, I did 3. And then here's the nice part. It's all set up right here for you. If you add all this together, obviously you won't have different colors. You can if you need to. But I can take 20 and 3
Mm-hmm.
And we know from the previous videos, 23.
That's our quotient.
Gonna be
That's
our
our
quotient.
answer, right there.
So now it comes full circle. You see why multiple towers are very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes it nice and fuzzy and easy.
Yes.
Okay?
There's that fuzzy word again. Okay.
Fuzzy word. Oh, fuzzy's nice. We can do fuzzy. Okay, so I want to give you an example of division tower. It's very similar.
Okay.
Okay. So very similar. And I'll actually use, well, let's use the same example just to compare the two. I know we've seen this one all week long, but we're going to go ahead and use the same one. So you set it up the same way. 345 divided by 15. Okay. The only difference, I do the same thing over here. I make my multiple towers 30, 45, 150, 300, 450. And Miss Weeks, this one's new to you, right?
Yes.
You
No,
love
I haven't seen this
Okay,
one.
so,
Very excited though.
and I taught middle school math before I taught 5th grade math, and this comes in handy next year when you start dealing with decimals. It just makes it a little bit easier for them, and I think that's important, so you can learn this strategy and use it when you progress through 6th and 7th and 8th grade. So what you do is same thing. I'm going to look over here, and I see that 300 is very close to 345, so I'm going to put 300. I'm going to subtract. Okay. Now, it took me, it was 20 times 300. So on Super 7, we put our 20 out here.
Right.
The only difference, I call it division tower, is because you put it up here at the top.
Okay.
The great thing I love about this is kids always ask me when they're doing the traditional, the old yucky method, you know, where do I put the 2? Do I put the 2 here? Do I put it here? When you're doing division towers, it doesn't matter. Just throw
Right.
it up to the top. Okay?
So they really shouldn't confuse the two. This isn't the traditional method
It's not.
this is simply almost very close to your big 7 that
Yes.
you made, but this is going to go
Just organizing my
right.
quotient or
Exactly.
my
Okay.
solution in a different area.
Perfect.
So then I'm going to subtract just like I would on Super 7.
Okay.
Then I'm going to see that 45 times 3 or 15 times 3 is over here. So 15 times 3, again, I'm going to add it. I'm just going to throw it at top.
Okay.
Okay, I call it division tower because if you notice, it just kind of stacks up on a tower here.
Okay.
Subtract and I get 0. So same thing we did over here in Super 7. We added 20 plus 3. It's just up here in the tower.
Okay.
So 20 plus 3 is going to give us our answer of 23.
That's great.
Does that make
Look at that.
sense?
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah.
a little bit variation of the Super 7. We don't organize our solution over here. We organize our solution over here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Should I do one more? You think they get it, or what do you think?
Well, it's up to you. Yeah, let's do one more.
All right.
One more.
One more it is. All right. We're going a little long, right? So we'll come up. We'll do another example here. What? Okay, so let's pick a number, any number.
Really? Again? Me?
Yeah.
Okay. 721.
Okay, divided by what?
12.
Okay,
I gotta challenge you.
challenge me. Okay, so I've written it twice because I want to show you one way that is Super 7
Okay.
and one way that is the division tower. Sound
Maybe we
good?
should challenge each other.
Maybe
I'll
we
do the Super 7. You can do the other.
There you go. So I'm going to create my multiple towers first.
Right.
And you can do this any way you want. I'm going to do it down here on the right. So
Okay.
12 times 1 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 12 times 3 is 36. And that's good because it's just simple facts. You
Right.
should know that. 12 times 10 is 120. Times 20 would be 240. And then 360.
Perfect.
So, there's my little multiple box. So we're
Okay.
starting with 721.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. 360 looks the closest I could get.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and do 360 over here. Extend that line.
Right.
And 360 was 30
Times
times
30.
12.
Yeah. So we have to keep that out there.
Okay. Over here, looks exactly the same.
Right.
Only thing I do is I don't extend, I write my 30 up here.
Okay.
Simple
'Cause you're
enough so
gonna
far?
start stacking.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay, then we do our subtraction. 361.
Okay. Uh-oh. Maybe I didn't make this
361.
challenging enough for you.
Okay, yeah, it just got real easy, didn't
It
it?
did.
Okay, and we're saying it got real easy because we're getting close to 361. Oh, looky there, 360.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I'm going to do 360.
I'm sorry, guys. I should have made this much harder on Mr. Leatherwood.
I'm going to extend the line, right?
Yes.
And that was a 30 again.
again.
Okay, over here, 360, nothing special.
All right.
I need to put that other 30 up at the top. Again, as long as it's up there, it really doesn't matter
All
where.
right.
So then I'm going to subtract, and it looks like I'm pretty close to being done.
I think you're done.
Okay, so again, over here on Super 7, I'm going to add these.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I like to make point that I'm not done. This little guy
Oh,
here is very important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so over here, it's going to be 30 plus 30. So that's going to equal
There's
60 with a remainder of 1.
Yay.
Okay, over here, I'm going to do the same thing. Except the only thing is I add my tower together. That gets me 60, remainder 1.
Perfect.
So you can see the difference or the comparison. And really, both ways are perfect. They don't, almost the exact same thing.
Right.
You're just organizing your final answer in a different location.
Absolutely.
All right. Practice some on your own. Get your parents to throw some numbers at you and see how you do.
That's great.
Have a good weekend.